15. 10. 5. 4. Pray.
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, we'll find a friend to care it.
Internet land. Who doesn't agree with that? All right, you clapped for not agreeing. Excellent. We are Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of teenagers. We've got Rory, Kiamute, Maddie, Olivia, and that's it. Most of the teenagers are on spring break. Usually there's a long list of names. Some of them are in Palm Springs. Some of them are on Drunken Ragers. I don't know what's going on. No, I hope not. No. Our kids are responsible. I've lost my mind. Our kids are all responsible. It's just milk and juice and fun. Right, Rory?
I'm 22. I'm allowed to go on Drunken Ragers.
No, you're not.
I mean, no, I'm not.
No, because you make bad choices when you're intoxicated.
It's true.
Everyone does. Everyone knows that. So no drinking, kids. But you can make a lot of noise and get the neighbors outraged. That's certainly your if that's your chosen pursuit, then that is your God-given right as a teenager to annoy neighbors and have someone yell, "Get off my porch," because that's what being a teenager is all about. Give us a call at 888-531-7171. We want to know how you are spending spring break. Are you creating a ruckus? Please give us a call. Rory's here. You've been on spring break officially because you're a college student.
Yep.
So what does spring break consist of for the young college student in today's times?
Well, for me, it's a little different. Everyone on my Facebook I saw is going to Cabo or just got back from Cabo.
You can't say Cabo. You have to go Cabo.
Cabo.
Yeah, we're going to
Drinking
Cabo.
Mai Tais. Yeah.
So I'm sure that's how the Mexicans pronounce it.
So they were in Cabo, and
Yeah.
I'm sure they're having a blast. I like Santa Monica Beach. It's nice, so I just stay there for free, and it's
We
cooler.
live in paradise.
Yeah.
We have a staycation every day of the week. Olivia, anything about college?
Just,
I hope
just
not.
a few things.
A few things. Okay,
like
please.
how to get in.
Yeah.
Like,
Huh?
yeah.
What?
Another acceptance today, Manhattanville. Yeah.
Crazy
I
cool.
know. I know.
Look at you.
They called me last week and they're like, to be honest, we weren't going to accept you. And I'm like, then why are you calling me? And then she's like, well, because we got the notes back from your audition and he said it was one of the best auditions he's ever seen for a performing arts department ever.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. So then they let me into their school and I'm like, that's cool. So
But
thanks, guys.
But I'm not. Did you
No.
say I'm not going?
I'm not going.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice of them
It was
to
really nice.
but spring break.
Right.
So when I was on spring break, I went to go see Spring Breakers with Selena Gomez and Vanessa Hudgens.
The Frank Master.
Oh yeah, it was a lot, and it was a lot of a bad thing.
I've heard a lot about people walking out of that movie. Is that a myth or is that?
It was like they shot 5 scenes and
Right.
that was it,
Mhm.
and then the rest was like filler pieces, and then they just replayed those same 5 scenes to make it almost like a dream kind of sequence, but it wasn't a dream, and there were so many drugs, and Vanessa Hudgens was just like, I have a gun now.
Does it make you pray for From Justin to Kelly?
Yes, I miss that.
That's a joke for the parents. First year Vital, Justin
Guarini.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I am.
And the
he was just
wonderful-
in an Old Navy commercial.
And great. He's so cute.
His hair.
I know.
I just
you
wanted
just
to
want
get lost
You
in
just
it.
want to just kind of fluff it.
Yeah.
So I never saw the movie. I just think it's
No one did.
kind of adorable that Kelly Clarkson was in that movie and then became Kelly Clarkson. How great is that?
Yeah.
All right, so we have shout-outs, Maddie.
Yes.
Yay.
One memento.
Mm-hmm.
Do.
And she has a story.
Okay. So, we have Sports Rule, California Ponies 123, With No Hands, Sports Are My Life, GK Girl 4, Gazzy, and Olivia, Miss Musical, and Olivia again, and Cassandra.
Yay. And I've noticed a lot of new kids in the app. I don't know if it's spring break or, whatever's going on. A lot of new kids in the app. We are currently working on an update for the app, so I think I mentioned in the Wheezy announcements section that you're going to have to upgrade your phone. Make sure that you download all the upgrades, or the new update won't work. But finally, push notifications are coming to our place, where you will be notified if someone responds yes, and you'll be able to upload your own avatar picture, and you'll be able to upload your own background picture for your profile, and it's going to be awesome. And even more great things are coming, because we have great developers, Knuckleheads, thank you very much. And you, if anyone can see this on camera, I'm not sure if you can, but young Maddie has an injury.
I don't think you can see it now.
Yeah, can you hold it up, or is it too injured to hold up?
Sort of.
All right, well, she, go ahead and tell us what happened, because it was a very glamorous injury. If you're going to have an injury, this is how to have it.
So I horseback ride very often, for those of you who don't know. And I was riding a horse called Lollipop. She's a pony, absolutely adorable. Except she's kind of moody.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not supposed to cut the corners of the arena. They're supposed to go in the full corner. And we're supposed to help them do that by putting our inside leg on their side.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing that, and in the process of doing that, I was kind of leaning to the left to kind of help her turn to the left.
Mm-hmm.
And because we were riding bareback, which is no saddle, for those of you who also don't know, I fell off the side of the horse. That's the
So
story.
you and the horse had a disagreement in terms of where to go, and
Yeah.
you both won.
Sort of, yeah. I went the way I wanted to go, except she went those other
Ouch.
ways she wanted to go.
Ow, 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 ow. All right, so you have a sprained ankle?
No, it's more of just like I kind of fell onto the side of my foot, and you know how you can jam a
Mm.
finger?
Oh, you, okay.
Jammed, except it kind of jammed in my knee and in my ankle both.
Ow. Ooh.
But, you know, it could have been worse. I was riding today, the same horse, also bareback, so.
Get back on the horse.
Yeah, you know, that whole
It's
thing.
no longer just a cliche. It's an actual thing that happens.
Exactly.
All right, so let's go to questions, because we have a lot of exciting stuff going on in the app. Bless you, Olivia.
you.
Does anyone ever check out the Ask Jenny section? Because Jenny is on it, you guys. Jenny is on it. So I think every week we should dip into the Ask Jenny section,
Okay.
because there are those who believe that Jenny is awake when I'm asleep, and they would be correct. She's in England. Ask Jenny questions from Eleanor Rosie. How do I not care what everyone thinks about me? I mean, like, I'm so self-conscious, and I feel like everyone is looking at me and judging me in a bad way. I feel like everyone is making fun of me, and they're all staring at me and watching my every move. And when I'm talking to someone, I start thinking about how they must think how dumb I sound or stupid I look. What should I do? All right, so first, before we answer the question, I wanted to get to kind of like, how universal is this for the age? Olivia?
Well, last year in my psychology class, there's actually there's a name for this. I don't remember what that name was because it was last year.
Does it have dysmorphic in it? I hope so.
No, that's something else.
Darn it. Okay,
But,
go ahead.
No, it's it's like a sensation that when you're noticing things about you assume that everybody else is doing the exact same thing. Like if your stomach growls, everyone heard that, even though like no one did. It was
Oh, you want to hear the weirdest thing?
what?
My husband got these toothbrushes that have this button that makes them go
Uh-huh.
right? So I was brushing my teeth, and
Crazy.
inside my own head, it's like super loud.
Yeah.
Right? And he says to me, you can turn it on. And I'm like, how are you not hearing this? And then I realized, oh, it's inside my head.
Right.
My mouth is actually inside my head. So it's kind of like that. Like you think that what you're thinking is like loud enough for everybody
Right.
to have the same exact thought.
My-
But they have their own thoughts
Yeah.
about their own lives.
My brother's actually going through this right now because he got a zit. One. It was one zit.
Oh, please.
And he wouldn't leave the house for a week and a half until it was gone.
Really?
And it was a huge thing. Sorry, he's not listening to this. He's on spring break.
Good
but
choice though by him.
right. So, like I mean, it was a huge thing, and I mean, I don't remember feeling this because I didn't like everybody around me, so I really just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess when you do, you just assume that I mean, no one cares as much as you think they do. I promise.
There's a saying that says something about, I think David Letterman said this once, that when you assume that everyone cares about everything you do, you're giving yourself too much credit.
Yeah.
Because they really, They really don't. And so it's like a sort of self-deprecating way of reminding yourself that you're not the most important thing on someone's mind. And it might sting at first to realize they're not noticing everything because they don't care that much about you, to be quite blunt. But it's not that they don't care about you or wouldn't care about you. It's just that they're too busy thinking that other people are thinking about them to really think about you as much as you think they're thinking about you. And if I find that if you put a lot of energy into trying to make other people feel comfortable and you make that your goal, then you're sending your energy in a positive direction, so that rather than worrying about what someone's thinking of me, I'm worrying about how they're feeling about what I think of them. So you do this by smiling, by asking about someone's day, by showing an interest in what they did. And the more you focus on like making sure that your friend is comfortable, maybe a little bit of time will go by and you'll be like, oh my God, I haven't even thought about myself because I've been so focused on making sure, not that I want you to become someone that other people walk on, because you can go overboard with the making sure everybody's okay business. Olivia.
The other thing I would like ask Eleanor Rosie, oh yeah, it was Eleanor because Jenny answered, is like, I mean, does she think about everything everyone else is doing? Because like, I guess this happened to my friend. She was like, okay, if I wear the same, I think like pair of jeans in the same week, like, is everyone gonna make fun of me? I'm like, honestly, I didn't even notice that you wore jeans.
People
And-
wear the same jeans every day.
right. So
Some people only have one pair of jeans.
I only have one pair of jeans.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't like wearing pants. They suck. They just bunch around the knees, and I don't like that. But
Kyo? Go ahead.
yeah, no. So like, if she's not thinking about every move everybody else is making, then they're probably not thinking about her. Kyo.
Yeah, I agree with all this, and one of the things that I might do if I'm feeling this way is whoever I'm around, like, I really focus on and think about, like, the smallest things that's wrong with them, and, like, what is wrong with the person I'm talking to right now? What is something that they're going to be, like, self-conscious about? And then I think about how that affects me on, like, whether or not I'm, like, because when I see, like, oh, they have a little thing, they have a rip in their pants or something, or, like, a little thing, then I'm like, but I didn't even notice that, and it's not like I think of them in a lesser way or anything.
I like that. So you notice something about someone and you're like, yeah, but I really had to try and go out of my
Right.
way. And that's the same as like Max's it would have been for me. I wouldn't have noticed it at all. I promise him. And I'm not just saying that, because I love him and I don't want him to worry about it. I promise you I wouldn't have noticed it. Or I would expect a teenager to have at least one. Maddie.
I mean, I think that the way that I usually think about it is, if you're thinking about how dumb you sound, because I was like a direct like how thinking about how they must think how dumb I sound. You can't really change how you sound that much.
Was she talking
So
about
it's
the sound of her voice or something that she said?
Yeah, I think it's the sound of her voice, right? Yeah. No. Oh, the thing. Oh.
Well, it could be either, but
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess. Well, if they're staring at you and judging you, I mean, honestly, like in the moment when that's happening, there's nothing much you can change. Like if you think that they're looking at your jacket weird, you can take it off. But like, there's nothing much you can change. Like if you think you look too pale, you can't just immediately like snap your fingers and be like a different color. It doesn't really work that way. It's like you are you. So just kind of, I know this is gonna sound super cliche, but just kind of like accept yourself as like just in that moment. If you can't do it all the time, just in that moment when you feel like everyone's judging you, like just realize you actually can't change what you think they're judging you about. Like if they think that your shoes are ugly, you can't just take off your shoes and walk around school barefoot. That won't work.
and
You could
Well,
do that.
Well,
you can
depending
change,
on the kind of school.
you can change your perspective that if they are thinking that, that's their problem.
Mm-hmm.
If they are thinking that anything about you is dumb, how is that your problem? Those are their thoughts. If they're going to have those thoughts about something as natural as you saying something, having an opinion, wearing certain clothes, wearing your hair a certain way, if they're going to have all these negative thoughts about every aspect of you, then they're the ones that don't have enough to think about. And that's pretty sad. So, if you just change your spin on it as like, I'm me, and this is cool, and I'm going to go out and be me because this is who God made, and good for me. And as long as I'm nice and kind and respectful, then you better not have word one to say about what I say or what I have on, because if you do, that's your problem. I can't concern myself with it. I've got positive stuff to do with my life. Kyo.
And as like specifically about how she's saying she thinks she sounds dumb, if it's the way your voice sounds, that's kind of a ridiculous thing for somebody to judge you about. I mean, you can consider that a filter to get rid of the people that are gonna judge you that way. And if it's about the things that you're saying, if you're saying things that you're actually thinking, there's nothing wrong. And I mean, even if you there's nothing wrong with being wrong about something, just as long as you're able to keep an open mind and accept that you might have been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Right.
think?
This doesn't really help the situation, but can we just all agree on that super awkward moment where you think that you know the right answer in class or in a group and you just yell it and they're like, nope. And it's the worst moment. Okay, I'm sorry, that didn't help anything, but I had to say it.
Yeah, but you know what? It
And
helps
Olivia.
because it's kind of acknowledging that everyone's had that experience.
Today, it happened not to me, but in a class, and it was not the right definition of ironic. It was just really upsetting.
That's a really hard word to define.
It
though.
is, but I feel like by 12th grade you should kind of have a grip. And she was like, it was ironic, but she was describing kind of a coincidence.
Well, that's
and it
because
was
she's
just-
listened to this Sheryl Crow song.
No, it was
So
Alanis
she hasn't
Morissette.
correctly identified or defined ironic in her examples.
Alanis Morissette.
Alanis Morissette, yeah.
There
Sorry,
we go.
Sheryl Crow. I know you know how to say ironic. I can't. I get my 80s songstresses confused.
Keo.
90s. Isn't that ironic?
Well,
Oh.
I mean, something like this happened just now during the pre-show. We were talking about names, and I said that Michael, I thought that Michelangelo was a first and last name.
No.
I hope you felt
Yeah.
really dumb.
Was it
because
the
you
teenager?
sounded
I felt
really
dumb. But I mean, if you're gonna think that who I am is stupid, then you're wrong.
No, but you didn't
I mean-
seem the least bit
No.
concerned about that. It was something you learned.
Well, I was like, oh, well, that was dumb, but
No,
I kind of
it's-
felt like it's understandable.
Well, it's
You're
it's a
19.
trick. The name is a trick.
I always thought it was.
Yeah.
When I was your age, I'm sure I thought it was two names.
well,
I'm sure I
yeah,
did.
but I mean, that's kind of like an example of this type of thing happening.
So, and then Matt looked up the whole name, and the
Yeah,
rest of it is
and it
not
was
worth
crazy.
knowing. It's, yeah.
What do you think,
Too much of
Rory?
it.
I've forgotten it already.
You could name 7 Italian restaurants after
Hell
the.
yeah.
All right.
There's enough Italian to name 7 or 8 restaurants.
Yeah.
So, whose
Yeah.
phone keeps blinking? Is that
I don't
you,
know.
Olivia?
Probably.
All right. Who's calling you? They know you're busy.
I know.
You have a
They just
show.
don't care.
You're on a show.
I'm telling you.
Give us a call, 888-531-7171. I wanted to read this one. Now, we are Our Place Out Loud. I'm Louise Planker here with Rory, Kiamute, Maddie, and Olivia. Jake and Ryan, I hope you're watching the show from beautiful Palm Springs.
Spring break.
And, of course, we have Sia, who's on her college crawl. She's getting all literal and literate and learning how to be bookish and write poems and be smart. She'll probably come back with, a boatload of crazy
I'm
stories.
so excited.
Because the craziest things happen to this girl.
They're probably not going to even have anything to do with her being in New York.
No,
They're
no,
going to
Absolutely not.
be like,
Oh, you guys,
or in
this thing
Philly.
happened? Okay. I was walking, and this guy was like, do you like claws? And I'm like, what? Claws? Why would you ask that? So,
Or she's going to be like, I was walking down the street, and I was just thinking to myself, what if our feet were like bare feet?
that's more like something she would say. Exactly.
Claws.
Okay, you guys. So this comes from Tiny Flames. This is a really upsetting letter, so we have to address it because it's important. Tiny Flames writes, Wheezy, I really can't stand anyone in my school. They bully me because I can't see. There is no other schools, and we can't move. What should I do? So first she told me the problem, and then she told me that my first solution isn't going to be the answer. So I'm thinking, at what school are you allowed to bully the blind kid? And what kid wants to grow up with a memory of having bullied the blind kid? And why isn't someone stopping this? Olivia?
Because it's almost like the teachers are unaware, they choose to be. it's like almost easier for them.
Right.
I don't really know how to describe it, but like I was bullied for things that I couldn't help either.
Mm-hmm.
And I it sucks, and this is really, really unfortunate. The only thing I could say, and it's what I still do, and I'm in high school,
Mm-hmm.
is like I became closer with my teachers so
Right.
that I had people at school
Mm-hmm.
that I could go to. And you actually learn a lot because, you know, they're there to teach you, and they have stuff that they know.
Right.
So sometimes, like, not even, you know, leaving the classroom at lunch. And I know it like feels like you're eating lunch alone, but you're not, because like your teachers, they became teachers for a reason, and they want to teach you things. And even if you just sit down and you're like, "Hi, what was going to college like?" They're gonna tell you, because that's really excited that you asked them.
Right, but shouldn't you also talk about what's happening? Because
Well, yeah,
it would just take
bring
like
that up.
one like classroom presentation. Because I suggested that this person, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, suggested there'd be a classroom situation where half the kids in the class are blindfolded, and then they get a buddy who has to like help them get from here to there. So they each get to experience what it's like to not have the gift of sight, and they each get to experience what it's like to help someone who doesn't have the gift of sight. And then maybe this user could address the class and say, you know, this is what I've learned how to do, and this is how I've learned how to cope, and this is what's helpful to someone who's blind, and this is what's not helpful. This is where we like to do things for ourselves. This is where we could use actually some help, and this is what it feels like when people are kind, and this is what it feels like when people are not kind. And just educate, because if somehow a culture has been created within which it's cool to bully a kid with a disability or without the use of one of the major senses, if the culture has been created where this is okay, most of the kids are going along with it just to survive, and they hate themselves. You need to help them help themselves and stop this. So just having lunch with your teacher isn't really going to stop people from bullying a blind kid
Right.
and having to grow up and become an adult who has to look back and remember that they bullied a blind kid. It's a horrible, horrible thing. And no one should be that kid, or should be led through peer pressure to be that kid. Keo.
What did the person say when you offered that?
I don't know. I just offered it today,
Oh,
and I haven't looked back to see. You know, he or she may not be, you know, brave enough to suggest that, but I just think the teacher should, even if the kid doesn't even come to school that day, the teacher should have that program
Yeah.
where everyone experiences what it's like to be so vulnerable that you can't even tell for sure if someone's bullying you because you can't see them.
I mean,
Where are they coming from? Where are the words going to come from next? It's like, it's horrifying.
I
Maddie?
don't.
Oh, were you going to talk, Keo?
Well, I mean, I don't even like your advice. Sounds like the best thing I can think of, but I just want to comment on how, like, how I don't even understand a person who could enjoy bullying doing that. Even if you're a bully, how do you, like, it doesn't make any sense.
It makes none.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a really small town or something, Maddie.
I mean, like, first of all, a little bit like, what kind of sicko bullies a blind kid? I mean, like, come on. Like, I mean, like, I understand that, like, you know, that's what they're targeting, you know, maybe, but I mean, just come on.
Well, it starts with, like, one ringleader,
It's true.
and then everyone else feeling like if they don't go along, they're going to be next.
That's true.
That's how this culture is created.
But I mean, if they did that exercise where they had the kids blindfolded, they shouldn't be able to have someone help them. Yeah. Because obviously,
have
if this
other
person
people
is
bullying
feeling if this person is feeling bullied, obviously nobody is helping them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like down the hallway or find their stuff or whatever. Olivia.
Well, I mean, like, you're like, what kind of sicko bully someone for having a disability? Well, it happens every day. Like, there's this girl in my school who's, like, mildly autistic, and she can't go through school without someone saying something to her. And she doesn't know that they're saying something to her because she doesn't get the social cue.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks it's so funny.
Oh, my God.
And I mean, like, yeah, sometimes, like, the thing is what I don't think is fair on her part is she uses her disability as an excuse to be mean to people. which I
that's
don't
her
think
only
is
defense
fair.
mechanism, yeah.
But, I mean, like, still. But it's like, I mean, people bully people for having disabilities. Like if you're deaf, they get bullied for that. And it's just like, that's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous for being bullied if you're blind. And the only reason why I said go to your teacher is because you eventually can talk about what's happening.
Mm-hmm. But if there's kids that are mainstreamed into a school or if there's community where they haven't had a chance to go to a school for the blind and then be mainstream when kids are older and hopefully more mature, shouldn't there be programs in place where everybody at the
There's
school?
no funding.
How hard is it for a teacher to sit down and come up with what I just came up with?
Because-
I wouldn't call it a program. I would say it's an activity.
It's like it's an
Activity,
activity, but
yeah.
the thing is like you
Teachers
need to
don't
get that
care.
approved.
A lot of them don't.
Like,
You have to get it approved to
like
teach
what
kids
you do in your
how to be
classroom,
kind.
like
to
because you have your standards, the California I know at least for us,
Uh-huh.
and you have to meet those requirements by the end of the year. So every day you have to be doing something. Like you can't just take a day where it's like we're just gonna do this today, because there's no time. And if you don't finish those things by the end of the year, you're screwed as your teacher.
I think you can make time. When I was student teaching, there was one kid who was picked on, and I asked the teacher if after lunch, instead of reading from the book that we were reading, if I could just talk to the kids about the situation. And the teacher was just like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" But I knew that I could do it. And I was in Medina, New York. She let me do it, and we talked about Vernon, and he was right there. And at first I was really scared. I didn't know how it was going to go. And at first nobody was saying anything. And then all of a sudden the first kid started to talk about how annoying Vernon could be. And I'm like, good, let's go. And then we talked about, how if Vernon wanted friends, he had to just kind of hang back a little bit and, let people approach him. He didn't have to approach every conversation and be so needy, because the thing that he wanted the most, he was pushing away. And they were fifth graders, and they were completely open to talking about this. And the teasing would have gone on and on and on if we hadn't stopped and had that conversation. It's not that tricky. I think teachers just have to be aware.
Well, it's
Instead of
hard.
book time, have conversation time. I know it's hard.
I'm
just saying,
not trying to make excuses for them. I'm just saying like sometimes it's not that easy. And it really, like in my middle school, there was something called the eraser game. And it was like kids would like cut themselves with erasers. Don't use that idea. It doesn't, you're just being dumb. But, and we had to add 3 days to the end of the year because we had to take 3 days out, and other people came in and were like, this is what self-harm is. So, but we had to add the 3 days, and that was a private school, so they could. But if this is a public school, like...
This was a public school, but I'm saying it was reading time. Instead
Right,
of
I
reading
know,
that
but,
chapter,
like,
Medina, New York.
I'm just saying, it really
Still
depends
part of the
where-
New York State. It was a New York State school system. Okay, we're going to go to the phone call. Kimute, we'll come back to you. Hello.
Rock On is on the phone.
Hello, Rock On.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Did you want to talk about the question that we're on, or did you have another question of your own?
Oh, no, I had kind of a question and a venting story because I'm, really sad.
Okay, let me hear.
Because my friend of 6 years, who I've known since first grade, we were best friends. We had talked all the time, and I started developing feelings for him, and he started liking me back, and we'd talk about it and stuff like that. No. Leave me alone. Sorry, my brother was talking, and then I found out he had a girlfriend, and we stopped talking. I was, really upset, and we haven't talked in, 2 weeks now. Hey, hold on. Can you please leave me alone? No.
Just tell him that you're
Go
talking.
away.
Tell him you're talking on a radio show, and he'll understand.
Yeah, I know. He keeps following me around. I'm trying to walk away from him,
No,
but he won't
just-
leave me alone.
Just tell him what you're doing, and he'll understand.
Jake, I'm talking on a radio show. Okay, leave me alone.
Talking on a radio show?
Leave me alone.
Right
Hi,
advice.
Jake.
Hello.
Hi, Jake.
My brother said hi.
Okay.
I love him.
All right.
No.
So I understand what you're saying.
I will.
Tell him to be nice. Okay.
She
So.
said she loves you.
Oh, I love him too. All right. So.
She said she loves you too. Now go away.
Oh, does she want to go to lunch?
Okay.
Wheezy.
and it's-
Terrible
Anyway,
advice telling
I
her
was
to ditch
really
her brother.
upset because I found out through Facebook, he couldn't even tell me, and he told me that he wasn't ready to be in a relationship because he got hurt in his last one, and he was like, no, but one day, I want to be your boyfriend, and all this stuff, and then he sent me a text, and I guess he meant to send it to a different person because it said oh, I loved it when you kissed me or something like that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he said, sorry, wrong person. So, like, to get my mind off it, because I was, like, freaking out, I went on Facebook, and he was posting pictures, and they were, like, kissing and stuff. And it was just really horrible. I was, like, super, super sad.
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to just like let it sink in that this happened. He was keeping it from you because he knows you like him and that he didn't want to hurt your feelings. And now he's kind of been caught red-handed and everything. And so you just need to have a conversation with him where you say, like, I understand, you know I like you, and so you know this hurts. So just acknowledge what it is.
Oh, no, I did tell him that. And
Okay.
then I tried calling him because I don't like when people try to hide behind a keyboard and, like, text about, like, super important stuff. So I tried calling him a few times. I was like, why aren't you answering your phone? And he told me that he didn't have any minutes on his phone, which I know wasn't true because I had a prepaid phone.
Okay,
And if
all right.
you don't
let
have
me,
minutes,
let
it
me,
doesn't even ring.
let me
So that was
interrupt you.
another thing he lied about.
Okay, it doesn't matter. He lied. He was trying to protect your feelings, and he wants to keep you in his life, but you need to back away, and you can't force this conversation. You know what is. He knows what is. You like him, and he's currently dating somebody else, and that hurts like hell. But you don't have to talk to him about it right now because he doesn't have the words for it. He doesn't know how to express himself, so he's hiding and he's lying. So don't pressure him so that he continues hiding and lying. Give this some space and let him see that, hey, I have a life. I'm a busy person. I'm very social. I have friends. I have activities. I've got stuff to do. I've got this. I've got that. You know, I liked you, but you're dating someone else. That's cool. Even if you're not okay, behave like you're okay. Don't continue following him or trying to get him to talk to you about something that is just plain unpleasant. You know, he kissed another girl and it wasn't you, and he never, ever, ever gave you any indication that that was about to happen. Olivia wants to talk.
Honestly, like right now, he's just being extremely immature. And whether it's because he doesn't want you to get hurt or not, I mean, he's not really worth your time right now. No matter how long you were friends, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter how long you've known someone, it's how well you know them. So clearly he doesn't know you that well to care about your feelings enough.
I think he cares about her feelings a ton, and which I think why he's dodging her and why he's lying. He cares about her feelings a ton. He is not ready to be in a relationship with her. He is not ready for her to be his
But maybe
first.
he won't ever be ready.
He
Sorry,
may not,
that hurts.
He may not ever be ready, but he wanted to kiss somebody else, and he didn't want it to affect you. He wanted to be able to do what he wanted to be able to do, and he didn't want to have to be accountable to you about it. But continuing to
but it's not like this is the first time that's happened before. He's had girlfriends and told me that he did it, or like he would flirt with me a lot, and then he would like say all this stuff, and then occasionally I'll be like, do you have a girlfriend? Because like I don't want to talk to you that way if you have a girlfriend. Like that's wrong. And he would always tell me, no, I don't have a girlfriend.
Well, then Olivia's right. Olivia's right.
Mature enough.
You were ignoring all the signs that he's a player because you liked him, Rory.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that's happened to me too, and I've seen it happen to friends of mine. And you know, like what I've learned is if somebody likes you, they're gonna make it happen.
Yep.
And if they keep telling you it might happen or they're too hurt, it's not gonna happen. And honestly, the best thing I think you could do is just not talk to them for a while, and just kind of try to move on, even though it would hurt. Because talking to them more is just gonna hurt you. You just gotta move on.
Yeah,
as
like
bad
I was
as
going
it
to say,
is.
I'm going to throw to Keo in half a second, but I was going to say, like, if you did get him on the phone, what were you hoping he would say to you? Like, what would give
Honestly,
you...
I have no idea. It was just so much anger and sadness that if we had talked, I would have probably said something that I would have regretted.
So, yeah, and it right now, let the situation cool down. It's an extremely heated situation. This guy has flirted with you, has indicated that he would date you when he was ready to date, and then went and dated someone else and accidentally texted you. Like, isn't even careful with who he's texting about kisses. You know what? He's being flagrant. It's like he wants to get caught. He wants to be the center of attention. He wants to, be the reason why people are upset. That's not an authentic way to be in the world, Keo.
Okay, so I agree with all that, and you shouldn't act rashly or anything. It's like your relationship is very tense right now. And I think with any relationship, whether it be friends, romantic, whatever, one of the most important things is trust. You need to be able to trust the person for it to be something meaningful and for you two to be close. So, I mean, the things he's done does not deserve your trust. I mean, as simple as that. He doesn't. I mean, it shows the things that he's done have been lies. So
He's wanted you to love him, and he hasn't wanted to have the responsibility of returning those feelings and making you feel safe and comfortable. He hasn't been authentic in he's taken, and he hasn't returned. And so, he hasn't returned what he's taken. And so he doesn't deserve your time right now. I'd let a week go by. Just say, I'm going to give it a week, and I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to pursue him. I'm going to let him see me busy, happy, and active. All right, we got to run, Rock On. I hope that helps. Say hi to Jake, and we'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for calling. We are at 888-531-7171. We are Our Place Out Loud with Rory, Kiamute, Maddie, and Olivia. Diving back into questions. Anonymous wrote, please help. My brother has a girlfriend and is cheating on her, and I told him to just date one girl, not two or more, but he won't listen to me, and I feel bad for both girls because neither of them knows. Is there any way to help him date just one girl, not two, or just some way to make him understand what is wrong? Oh, and I'm the only one who knows, and every time one of them are around, I get all nervous. Please help, Olivia.
He's going to get caught.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
he's
told
gonna
her,
get
just
caught.
stay
Like, you
out of
just-
it. You've already told him you don't approve of this.
Yep.
As a female on the planet, he's not being a good dude, but he's got to walk his own path, Maddie.
Is this a girl?
Pardon me?
Is this a girl?
It's a girl.
Okay.
I think. Well, it's anonymous, so I don't know.
I think you try to go for one of the girlfriends.
You got extras? Maddie.
I think that sometimes one of the best ways to, learn a lesson is from your mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, maybe the best way to kind of help him is to let the situation unfold. And like Olivia and Wheezy both said, he's going to get caught. And so he's going to realize that doesn't work.
The show, get some popcorn.
Olivia.
Like you go running into the room and you're like, "Hey, Angela," but it's Teresa.
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oops."
That's
Like,
true.
yeah,
You
that's
could do
actually-
that. Call him by the wrong name. That'd be funny.
I mean, yeah. And girls go crazy.
I know.
This is going to just let it just watch.
I
Cuz
Or
then
just even
cuz then you
like,
can say I
second
told
one
you
today.
Grab some popcorn.
so. Yeah.
Put up a stool.
Cuz the I
Um,
told you so is the best part.
No, I don't like I told you so.
Sometimes. Like in this situation,
Just let
cuz
the
he's hurting
universe-
both of them.
Let the universe tell him so. Q.
Okay, this is what I would do. I would talk to my brother and tell him I don't want you to bring them around me because I don't feel comfortable because I feel like I'm lying to them.
By omission, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel wrong and bad when I'm lying to someone. So I would tell my brother that you don't expect me not to give you away. I'm not going to purposely tell them, but I mean, if it
might
comes
slip
up,
out.
yeah.
And you know what else? The girlfriend's always working the sister like, so, what do you think Chad's thinking about, like prom? Like, the girlfriend's always working the sister or the brother. And then you're going to get caught in, like, having to figure out what to say and what not to say. Like, do you think he likes me as much as I like him? And you're like, he doesn't like you as much as he likes,
Maggie.
Right.
Maggie.
So I would say tell him to keep this whole thing away from me because
Yeah.
I know about it, and let him do what he's gonna do, and he'll learn. He'll learn what happens when you do that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I agree. All right, so Partially Insane writes, my swim teammate, I'm sorry, let me start over and speak English. My swim teammate, 15, has a coach, 20-ish. She has his number and texts him. He's not her coach. Is that socially acceptable? Rory?
Well, it's not legally acceptable.
Well, what if she's just saying, hey, did you watch The Bachelor?
I mean, if it's a friendship
everyone's
thing,
you.
then yeah. I mean, if it doesn't get sexual, then yeah, it's okay.
Because if he's watching The Bachelor, he's probably gay anyway.
I mean, hey, sometimes kids that age need friends who are older, and if it's a teacher and it's a respectable teacher who's not
So what I wanted to ask you,
devious.
Yeah, but what I
miscreant.
want to ask you guys is like now, you guys live in a different time. Like, if we got a teacher's phone number, we'd phone him up and then hang up,
Yeah.
and that was kicks and giggles right there. But like, what is the expected dynamic in terms of texting teachers or having a relationship with them via technology, outside of class? Maddie?
It really completely, absolutely depends on the content of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like literally just friendship, like, hey, did you watch The Bachelor? It's pretty much normal. I mean, I know a couple of friends who have my teachers' numbers, and also teachers that aren't currently at the school. I mean, like, teachers that they're trying to keep in contact with that were their teachers. I mean, like, I know about that because it's like a friendship thing, but if it's not friendship, if it's more than that, then it's definitely a problem and completely unacceptable.
Well, I am a teacher. I teach comedy.
Mhm.
And so I've got like 10 students up in Santa Barbara currently. And if they text me, it's like information only. Like, is there class? Yes, there is. I don't have conversations, even with any of you guys via text. It's just like exchanging information. If we're going to have a conversation, we can have it face to face. But, I think that's the acceptable amount of like interchange between adult and child who are in a working or teaching kind of relationship. Olivia?
Okay, so I have a lot of teachers that I've like had, and a lot of teachers who have left the school. And like, for instance, my freshman English teacher, I keep in contact with on Facebook because he was the best teacher I've ever had, and he had to leave the school.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he was just a very good person to know.
Right.
So like, if he's on Facebook, like, because after he left, like, we could add him on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so sometimes, he'll be like, congratulations on your college acceptance. And it's
Mhm.
like, that's nice. And then I have my acting teachers from over the summer who like, we keep in touch on Facebook because like they wrote me letters of rec and they care about us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I also have a couple of teachers' numbers. Like, I have my college counselor's number because whenever we got an acceptance, she wanted to know like right then, because
Mhm.
she took so much time and care into our applications and writing like, things for us that like she just legitimately cares. And then I have my 2 English teachers now who they have my number and they text me about rehearsal and stuff. So it just depends on the situation. And I feel like if it's not getting to a weird sexual flirty place, then it's, like when I was 15, there were seniors who were in my freshman year, and then they went off to college, and like, so they were 20 when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that that's a weird age difference to be friends.
To be friends, it just
To
has
no,
to
to
stay
be friends.
friendly,
It has
yeah.
to stay friends.
Kyo.
I don't know. I'm not an expert on what's socially acceptable,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like. You might not. Just because it's not socially acceptable, it's not necessarily wrong. So like,
Okay.
as long as it's not like sexual and it's not in that kind of a relationship, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's kind of your opinion on whether you think it's like socially acceptable, and whether somebody might be like, oh, that's weird, you shouldn't be doing that. And
Right. It really depends on, like, I guess, what's in the texts.
yeah.
If it gets flirty at all, like, even if you're the teacher and you see something that's like, hey, you want to get coffee or anything like that, you would, as a teacher, need to say, no, that's not really going to be appropriate. And the
Mhm.
word appropriate is never offensive. Like, you can say
Right.
it, and it kind of handles it without someone feeling hurt. Because it's common for a 15-year-old to have a crush on a coach. Like, that's a real common thing. It's up to the coach to behave correctly.
Mhm.
Rory.
Yeah, I was also just gonna add that. Yeah, it's a little different. I think with a coach,
Yeah.
or like something like you were been saying with theater, like it's a little different than a regular teacher because you spend so much time with them. And I know she's saying it's not her coach, but there are multiple. Oh man, it's malfunction.
Is it the coach?
It's the coach.
Oh, it's
is
probably
just-
me.
The coach is texting me.
Everyone's looking at
Meet
their
at your
phone,
dorm
and it's
later.
like
Whoa.
someone's... Yeah, go ahead, Rory. Sorry.
I was
My bad.
Really inappropriate joke right there.
All
Yeah.
right, skip over that. And keep
Yeah,
going.
anyway, I was just saying that it's a little different because I could understand, like, you have more to talk about, you spend more time together if it's your coach or your acting teacher or something like that, or even your comedy coach.
Yeah, and you have to be careful. There's boundaries. Like, I mean, I have students in Santa Barbara, and and I've had students everywhere, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, for the past 13 years. As Rory is one of my students, Devin is one of my students, and we've always had a close relationship as a mentor, and it's entirely possible to have a completely appropriate relationship with any kid as a mentor. Lots of kids need good mentors, and I would hate to discourage that, because that is so vital to society. As Hillary Clinton says, it takes a village. One more point, Olivia, and then we're jumping to the next question.
Right. I've had a tutor since the 6th grade,
Mhm.
and I've seen her like 3 times a week, like every week since 6th grade. And so we text back and forth too, because I started taking care of, instead of my mom doing the scheduling, I do it too. And so like that's how we keep in contact. And I feel like if it's an appropriate
Right.
relationship, it's perfectly acceptable and you shouldn't be concerned.
Appropriate being the key word. From Nick N. I found out that my best friend is bisexual. I'm not upset or freaked out or anything, but he just didn't seem like the type. My dad is really against that stuff. My mom seems to not support it, but not hate it. My friend tends to blurt things like that out, so I'd rather have my mom know ahead of time so she isn't freaked out or whatever. What do I say? What do I do? Does he have a responsibility to let his parents know that he has a friend who's bisexual?
No.
Or does he need to say something to the kid like, hey, don't mention being gay in front of my folks? Or what are his obligations, Olivia?
I guess, maybe tell them about your parents. I just don't feel like you have to tell your parents about that.
No, I agree. You can just say to your
yeah.
friend, you're like, hey, my parents aren't the most gay-friendly people, so, and whatevs.
Just a heads up.
It's their
But that's
deal.
not me.
Yeah,
But
it's not
also
me,
make
yeah.
sure that it's not, like, he knows that it's, like, just because you live there doesn't mean that's you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I think gay kids know that, like, that the whole world is not on their side, and it also, a lot of the world is. So it is, I mean, every gay kid knows at a certain point they're going to run into somebody who's maybe going to say something, and they're going to have to deal with it. Keo?
I don't think he has any obligation to do it, but it might be a smart thing, like, just to keep
What if his
things-
parents say, then we don't want you being friends
Yeah.
with him?
Yeah, because if his dad's really against gay marriage, then wouldn't he say that? I mean, just gay
Well, I
people in
mean, that's
general.
why it would be a smart thing to maybe warn his friend or something.
Okay.
But
Warn the friend. I
Not
would
the
say warn the
parents.
friend. 'cause
Maybe it should be up to the friend. He should tell the friend, my dad's against.
yeah,
gay
my parents
Yeah.
aren't
people
all that
or-
gay friendly.
yeah, I would definitely tell my friend, because it's kind of like, something like it's gonna be somewhat of an issue with your dad, so it's a good idea to tell your friend.
Yeah, and if your friend thinks, well, I'm out, so I can talk about it anywhere. Like, the TV could come on, and he could be like, that guy's really cute, and, just because he's being himself. And so if your dad would be like, what? Because some parents might think, oh, well, if my friend, if my son has a gay friend, that means my son is gay. He may be, he may not be. It's up to your son to decide that or tell you whenever he feels like telling you. It's like, I just feel like while kids are growing up, no adults should be really interfering in how they come upon, who they are, their sexual identity or preference or whatever. It should be natural. It should just be the natural, course of things. But I think it's great when straight boys have friends who are gay. I think that's awesome. That really means we're changing as a society, as a people on Earth. That's like such a refreshing change for me, for everybody to just let everybody be and take value in each other. Rory?
Just to answer the question about asking his mom, if you think that that you could have a good conversation with your mom about it, because he said that his mom doesn't support it but doesn't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
If he thinks you could have a good conversation with his mom, because sometimes one parent is easier to
Yeah.
talk to than the other,
Oh, sure.
then that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of something that he can tell better than us. Like, he can,
Yeah.
Right. You know your parents better than we do, so you have to make that call. All right. So, I don't know how to say this screen name. Carly. Urgent. So many kids lately have been writing Ask Wheezy and just putting the words urgent, answer ASAP. Like, I'm just going to drop everything and run. Urgent. And then it's like, I like this guy. All right, well, let me call the lifeguard. I'm making fun of you guys with love. Urgent. My boyfriend is embarrassed to be dating me because I'm in the grade below. See, to me, like, this has to be like 6th grade, 5th
Yeah.
grade thing. Because, like, by the time you're 8th and 7th, it's almost even not an issue anymore. Liv?
My best friend on this planet is dating a guy in junior year, and it was like half a hiccup for like 2.9 seconds, where it
Yeah.
was just like, what about when I graduate. So,
Yeah, and
but
then-
that was it. I mean, talk to him about it. Be like, I mean, like that's not fair. We're in a relationship. There shouldn't be anything that about me that you're ashamed to share with other people.
Yeah, and it feels to me like if there's only a 1 year age gap, he's probably just not ready to date
Yeah.
Or just trying to date other people at the same time.
in his own grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't want his own grade to know what's up.
Or maybe like an older woman in 7th.
Ooh.
Ooh.
This is a 6th grade player.
Yeah, I just say, because for whatever reason, your boyfriend is not allowed to be embarrassed of you.
Exactly.
If he's embarrassed of you, he doesn't get to date you.
Right.
Moving on, Beastly BC. I'm in love with my best friend, and I know he loves me too. I feel it deep in my gut. The way we look at each other and the things he does with only me are that of a dedicated couple. I told him I have feelings for him, but he said he didn't feel the same way, but he has gotten much more touchy, and he looks at me, hugs me, tells me he loves me, etc. His mixed signals are so confusing. What do I do? How do you guys feel about mixed signals? Because I just think it's just completely unfair to say I don't feel that way and then act like you do. Maddie.
I feel like this is very similar to our callers situation.
Yeah, it is.
But I think that mixed signals are very confusing, and you need to really just like ask him directly. You've been giving me all these signals. Do you still feel that same way that you told me
Yeah.
before, which is that you don't have feelings for me? And then if he still says the same thing, then say, okay, well then I need you to, kind of not do that because it's really confusing.
I
me.
love that. And you know what, ladies? As much as we like crave the attention from a guy that we're crushing on, you have to kind of like force yourself to say, hey, bud, you don't get to do that when you just told me that you didn't have feelings because I'm getting really confused. You never want to do that because you just want to hold on to that moment where he's giving you that special look and go home and just cuddle with it. And, you don't want to, you don't want to do anything that interrupts that glow that you're going to have that whole evening after. But you have to because he doesn't get to play you like that. Liv.
I think Rory said it earlier. Like, if someone wants to be with you, they will. So if he's not, that this is something that hurts, but you have to drop it.
But why do people do that? And girls do it too. Why do they need the
Attention.
Yeah,
attention?
they like attention. They like to have a guy on the side,
I just want
So
you to love
good.
me. I didn't say I was ready to love you back.
Mm-hmm.
Keo?
I don't think it's necessarily that. Just because I had a friend who had a problem where all of her guy friends or not all of her guy friends, but guy friends of hers would think that she liked them, and she didn't know why, and it was kind of just the way she acts with them because she's really nice and she kind of goes out of her way for them, and they take that as something else.
Right.
So, I mean, I would tell him that, like, if you ask him, like, do you still not feel this way, like how you told me? If he says no, I still see you as a friend. In other instances where he does these things that are flirtatious, I would say, well, this is the kind of thing that makes me feel this way. Like, so, I mean, if you don't, you're sending me a signal that's confusing me.
Yeah, and and just flat out, you don't get to flirt with me
Right.
if we're just friends, because it's really kind of rocking my ship, and I don't need that, Maddie.
Also, what you can do, who wrote this again?
Beastly BC.
So what you can do is, when he's doing that, when he's like giving you a hug or telling you that he loves you, in that moment, ask him, so do you like me? And if he says no, then ask him, so why did you say that? Or why did you do that? And he's going to have to come up with an answer of why he's flirting with
Oh.
you, but not asking you
Just
out.
call him on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Why, the big why. We've got a vent from Blood Rain. It's been a while since we did a vent. Who wants to read the vent? We are Our Place Out Loud. I'm Louise Planker, and Maddie's going to read Blood Rain's vent.
Random venting. You do not need to agree with me, but if I offend you, sorry. I hate how people say everybody's society. Not everybody is. There are those kids who are pushed aside and made fun of. Are they society? No. They're outcasts of society. Society is a majority of people's opinions in all caps. I'm sick of being told I'm society when I don't even agree with it. I'm not society if my opinion is against it. Yes, I'm not perfect. Yes, I need to change, but I'm never going to change into society ever. Why? Because it has pushed me aside. No, now I will regret it. Oh, no, now it will regret it. There we go.
Sounds
Now,
like
now
Batman.
society will regret it. And I want to go immediately to
So
Keo because
superhero.
Keo's the one who knows how to like read deeply into stuff like that. I read a lot of layers into this. What do you read?
Well, I mean,
It's because first
It's
of
hard.
all, it ends with a threat.
right. I mean, I don't
and
think
that's
society
disturbing.
is gonna.
But
As a
it
whole.
but as much as it's a threat, it's also like deep pain of rejection.
Right.
So it's like saying if you're not going to accept me, and I would like to offer that as a kid you can often feel like society has rejected you, but it's the fringers who become the mainstream. The fringers dictate what the mainstream will become. Don't be so quick to assume that you're not part of society just because you're marching to your own drummer. You're the guy that everyone's noticing is, hey, what's that guy up to? And then in 5 years, all of a sudden, everyone's dressing like you, acting like you, and singing the songs that you knew were cool before anyone else did. So you are a part of society. You're just kind of
Head of
a
the
different
curve.
part of society.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. He's obviously upset with his environment and everyone around him. I think that, like you said, he is part of society, and just because you're not like, even if the majority doesn't agree with you, that's still a part of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the outcast is still kind of a part of
Well,
the whole.
yeah, the outcast is a huge part of the whole, and just the fact that he felt like venting this in a society or a community that
Mhm.
is our place means I want you to hear me. Just like every other human being, I need to be heard. And I feel pain when you cast me out. So I don't know who specifically cast him out or what brought on the rant or the vent, but be proud of who you are. There may be some people exactly in your life right now who are giving you sort of a disapproving look. It's okay. Do you. Do you. Do you. You're never going to be exactly who your parents pictured when they held you as a little baby. None of us have been. None of us have been. Honestly, your parents are going to have a vision of like who you're supposed to become, and some people are going to be a little closer to that mark than others, but no one is exactly. That's why if you have a baby, I say, you give them life, you don't get to live it, and parents acknowledge your child is her or his own person. Olivia.
The other thing is, it's really important for Blood Rain to know, like, he can't get so worked up every time someone says society as a generalization.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just easier. I mean, like, they can't go through and pick out every individual person ever. It's just sometimes generalizations need to be made.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get so worked up and offended every time, you're just doing more harm than
And
good.
it's-
It's just like you're just riling yourself up for absolutely nothing.
And it's a natural teenage thing to say, you're them, I'm me.
Yeah.
And that's how you separate yourself and identify who you are. So you're kind of going through a natural process. I'm going to jump right to Stella Grill because I just want to say this kid posts every day in columns. And she's so consistent. And her column is called Gratefulness because it works. So who would like to read Stella's column? And I know we have 2 minutes. And then after you read her column, I would like you to say at least one thing that you're grateful for today. Go ahead, Rory.
Oh boy. Gratefulness because it works. Today I'm grateful for Easter, church today, funny one-liners, films, being.
Being 18. Being 18.
Oh, being 18. Sorry, I thought that was another number. Being 18, oxygen, kind of important. Lord of the Rings bookmarks. Oh man, I love this person already. My diary, youth at church, and being reunited with old friends.
Okay, Rory, what are you grateful for today?
I'm grateful for everyone here at our place, especially Wheezy.
Aw.
Suck up.
I am a sucker, thank you. I
Called on
try.
it. Keo?
I'm grateful for the capacity to appreciate and be grateful.
Oh, I love that. Beautifully said.
I'm grateful for Advil. when you fall off a horse, you're grateful for Advil. Let me just tell you.
Beautiful. Go ahead.
I'm grateful for naps.
Oh,
They're
no.
pretty.
Naps are the nicest.
And
Yes.
for everyone who nominated me for prom princess.
What? Are you gonna win?
I hope.
Oh my gosh! Vote for Liv.
Is prom princess like? Is it like?
Is
There's
it a-
queen,
Oh, okay.
king, prince, princess, jester, and joker.
I am grateful
Which
for
one's female?
everyone on our place. I'm grateful for everyone on this show. I'm grateful for Patricia and Howard and Jolene. And I'm grateful for everyone who helped me get my movie made and on Showtime. And I'm grateful for Matt because he's the handsomest. And
Oh, thank you.
I'm grateful for Justin because Justin is calm when I'm a mess. And we are Our Place Out Loud. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
World existence. It's coming back.